Okay, let's do another one of these fucking things. Let's go. Gotta get my ass whipped by Artorias today, I think. I think that's what we're doing. I can't remember. Oh, good. He's in a good mood today. Yeah, I'm in a good mood today. I was working on the animation. I've started a new animation between last time and this time. It's gone well. It's been a while since I've been able to animate, and I've kind of been in a bad mood about animation since my last one, the one about SWAT cats, got taken down, and I got a account strike for doing it, which is super illegal. Like, they super cannot do that. If I took them to court, they would lose very, very hard over that. But it's one of those things where, you know, they have lots and lots of money, they can throw as much of it as they want to. Guess what I've been thinking about lately? So it doesn't really matter. They can just do whatever the fuck they want to. I think since then, though, that particular account strike has been removed. I don't know if they were the ones that removed it, or YouTube was like, okay, dude, this is, like, way too far. Like, this is super uncool that you did this. Oh, just gonna... okay. Alright. I can hear something coming. Is that them up there? It'd be funny if they rode down on the elevator. It's us again! Alright. Oh, before we even get started, first let me gripe about setting this shit up in the first place. Oh, fuck. Fuck. I did it. I'm the one that did it. Oh, wait, it's fine. Go back up. Alright, there we go. But I was sitting there in front of Toon Boom, starting to animate, and I thought, oh, it's been a while since I've done the Dark Souls thing. I've got to do that eventually. Oh, here they come. Here they come. So, I thought, I guess I could do that. I'm in a pretty good mood right now. I could do that. And then I started to fire it up, and I was like, wait, I'm forgetting something. There's something I need to do. And I was like, oh yeah, I need to check the video comments and go back and do that. Because I always have to do that before I do, like, the notes and shit. And, somewhat coincidentally, I did that whenever the video first released, very early, like, like about half a day into it. And fortunately, everyone, like, the majority of the comments of that video were just people commenting, he's going crazy! Timestamp 52 minutes! He's crazy! And that's all it was. Wow. So as a result, I didn't really have to go through too many other comments because that's all it was. So I ended up not putting anything new. So all that work was already done. But the point being that it took a lot of time. And then after that, again, I fired it up and I remembered, well, I've got to set all the mods back up. I need to set what the physique and everything is. I need to set the visual state of the hollow shit. I need to turn Gravelord stuff back on. Need to do all that. And then I noticed as I tab back over to start the recording, the sound is not aligned with the game. Like I would roll. And you know how you makes the roll sound. It does that, except the audio was coming like a good 2 seconds after, and I had to stop the game, restart it. It's still the same. It's not as bad, but it's still the same. So I restarted again. Same problem. And then I thought, well, I'm going to have to restart the whole computer. I hope it's not a bigger thing. And then I noticed, install Windows Update and shut down. Oh. I wonder what the problem was. Anytime that Windows does that, it has a bunch of updates queued up, it starts fucking up your computer really badly. Man, fuck Windows Update. They're not nice people. I don't like them. Alright, but, yeah, last time most of you guys were just commenting about me going crazy. By the way, a lot of you are like, it's so good to see him in a good place right now. That was like laughter of pure anguish. I was not at all in a good place whenever I recorded that video. I'm in a better place now, which means this video won't be as funny, I guess. I don't know what the rules are. But, I was not in a good place. Like, I was not in a good mood. Like, the fact that I was having to do this and it was proving so difficult and I couldn't get my words out, like, it was, like, legitimately driving me crazy. And that's part of the reason why I haven't done a video up until now. Another is that I've just been busy. Like, I'm having to do the animation, all this other shit. Which itself is also really involved. I'm about 3/4 of the way through doing the primary for it right now, by the way. Dating this video. A lot of you people commented on various things. One of the commenters said that she would totally be my wife or assistant. Hey girl. Most of you people were commenting, like people that actually were commenting, were talking about, apparently, it's been so long, I can't even remember, but the healing system I was talking about, a lot of you were commenting that it was similar to my idea was similar to the Path of Exile's healing system, or Hollow Knight's healing system, are the two main examples. So if you want to check that out, those are good games. Check that out. Masturbate. Swallow your own cum out of your hand. I don't care what you do. I don't know why I suggested that. I'm just trying to put off fighting Artorias. May as well do that, though. Let's go ahead and cast light real fast, though. Because I want to make sure that everyone can see the severe ass slamming that Freelid is going to get in this fight. Fall control, hush. 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 We need this, too. Never hear us coming. Everything's going to go great. Alright. Also, this armor, that's one thing I do enjoy about setup, is the fact that it's like, oh, I get to put on new clothes. I love to be pretty. I'm such a bitch. I'm like that. Of course, this is my favorite, like, visual setup. On females, it looks a little bit weird because of the way that the armor sort of pinches up near the rib cage, which it has to, because female anatomy, it's slightly different than males. I don't know why. Anyways, but this is my favorite look. I don't know why. It's like Artorias. Better equip my... It's because it's like, I'm gonna go crazy again, so I may as well look good and feel good about how I look while I'm doing it. So let's get our ass beat. And lose our 1,800 souls in the process. Thank goodness for that. Oh, for a second I thought... It's mighty impressive that the, Black Phantom was slain by Artorias. Like, oh, he's also Black Pham. He's also very strong. I'm not gonna have fun doing this. This is gonna be bad times for Eli. Bad times for Freelid, worse times for me. We're not gonna talk about the lore. We're not doing that. I will comment about his stupid left arm thing. Remember how... Oh, he's always left-handed. I will point out... You find his shield with Puppy Sif, right? Wow. You find his shield Puppy Sif. Actually doing pretty good damage, all things considered. Woo! He's a big boy. I'll have to concentrate here. You find his shield with Puppy Sif. So I always took it to mean that he was going down there. A lot of people, for some reason, assume that he was fighting with Manus with Sif, and he lost. And that's the reason why his hand got broken. That's not how I took it. I took it to mean that he was fully capable of beating Manus at his best. But what happened was, on his way over there to fight him in the first place... Are you trying to power up? Yeah, you are. That on his way over there... Wow, not really doing much. That on his way over there, Sif got injured. So he's like, well, I can't take him with me, but I can't just leave him here. So I will conceal him here and give him my shield to protect him. Because he's too injured to go on, or she's too injured to go on, whichever gender you want to assign to it. Whoop. This hasn't been too bad so far, actually. And so that's the reason why his shield arm is now injured. Because he had to protect himself with that arm, his offhand. So as a result of doing that, his shield arm is now injured. The whole left-hand thing is a Dark Souls 2-ism. Which is cute because, wow, even with his not good arm, he still manages to kick ass. Which is cool. Oh, that's neat. But to me, that was what seemed to be the most obvious, like, path of logic for me in this game. Because if they lost the fight, how did he make it back in the first place? Especially if he was infested with the Abyss. And how did he manage to heal Sif, give her the sword, and also like create that barrier and the illusion. And you could say, well, maybe it's Alvina and so forth and so on. It's more direct and makes more logical sense without jumping through too many hoops to me. Man, you just can't get in a hit without taking a hit. I was considering using a faster weapon in this fight for this very reason. Of course, you guys know this about me. I don't really like being required to take a hit. Always like whenever I'm able to actually evade everything. Damn. What if I can... Yeah, I can. Okay. Wanted to see if I could actually break his poise. Man, even doing that. Really, a shield is what trivializes this fight more than anything else. A really good shield, which is exactly what I did last time. I think I used Havel's. I'm gonna do it again. It's funny how you can tell. I actually expected this fight to be way more of a problem. If you want to see a particularly, like, horrific example of this fight, I think whenever I was streaming Dark Souls 1, and I was playing as my shitty mage. Like, I had done every other build, and I think that was the crux of that playthrough. Jeez. Uh-oh, uh-oh, ah! Fuck that up. That was my fault. But that was the crux of that playthrough. I was, playing my shitty mage, and they only had, like, a dagger or something, and they didn't have enough points yet, because, you know, sorcerer builds in Dark Souls. My voice is also kind of rough today. I don't know why. Sometimes I just wake up and I just have really, like, a dry throat, and it's kind of hard for me to talk for prolonged periods. This is, ice water, by the way. But I think the archive of that is still on my unlisted Twitch LP... Oh, not LP. Twitch video thing on my channel, if you can find it. That's where it's an archive, but I don't have a separate channel for it. It's just a playlist, and all the videos are unlisted. There we go. But that one was particularly bad. It took me, like, dozens of attempts, I think. Like, it went very poorly. And I think in that one I was not using a shield. I was doing exclusively, like, fast rolling, and I was doing no damage at all. I eventually did beat him. But it was a case of me getting, like, worse as the fight went on because I was just getting angry. And I think that's the only time I've ever had that much trouble actually fighting Artorias. Aside from maybe the very first time. Although I can't really remember if I ever really had that much issue the first time through the game or not. I want to say that I did, but maybe I didn't. Okay. Now I will get to the questions, but I was hoping I could bang this out. Don't you do it! I was hoping I could bang this out beforehand. Now, unfortunately, since I didn't kill those dudes, I'll forget about it. But if I actually... maybe I won't forget about it. But if I manage to beat Artorias here, then they will be waiting and more than happy to attack me. Believe me. Like, if you're not using a shield, you really... I'll take that. You really do need to have a fast build. Like, can you imagine doing this with a standard, Yeah, Paige did that on stream. Paige had a... My numbers are going to carry me through the game build that Pat gave her. Where she just leveled up, strength and vitality and so forth to, like, 50. To the point where she was just face-fucking everything. Which apparently was a sore spot for her. Being told, yeah, that's not really a thing. You're not playing well, you're just letting your numbers do the talking. Apparently it's wrong to mention that. But you could do it that way, I guess. So really, either you kind of just you either have to face fucking, you have to use a shield, or you have to be fast rolling. One of those three. And like in this case, you can't face fucking, even with Freeland's grotesque stats, her horrific stat line. What if I can? So I have to either fast roll or use a shield. And this is not the best roll, obviously. Ninja roll is not equipped. So shield it is. You really shouldn't roll away, because his thrust like that can do multiple hits and will drain your stamina completely. The thing about Artorias that I don't really care for is, like, that. Like I said, the DLC is sort of the start of a lot of bad behaviors for a lot of FromSoft games, where fights got a little bit too fast and aggressive for the speed of a game like this. Because as you can see, there are a lot of cases where you will correctly go in whenever he is beginning to attack and get punished for it. Like, he'll still have more than enough time to be able to counterattack you, especially because of his poise. And there's not really a way to get around that other than just using a faster weapon or just being expected to tank. Which I've mentioned before is something I kind of don't really like about Dark Souls, is the game expects you to be taking damage. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's just not my preferred thing. Like that, for example, I didn't really do anything wrong exactly. But it's just one of those quirks of the system combined with this particular fight, right? It is a good fight, though. Do I think that it needs to be replicated, what, 3, 4 times? 5 times, I think, even. And to be basically the final boss in the entire series? What is his name? Gale? Just some guy? I can't even remember his full title. But he's just some guy. I need blood for the painting. Yeah, sure you do, whatever. Did they need to go, hey, remember Artorias for that many times in a row? No, they didn't. I think they hurt the legacy of the series a little bit doing it that way. Let's not have that happen again. Whoa, I two-handed it for some reason. Get out of that. There we go. Okay. Now I can actually get to the questions. You know, compared... I remember you. Where'd they go? Did they just leave? They gave up. They gave up. What good boys and girls. I honestly expect to turn them to, like, just round the corner. There he is! Get him! Fuck him! Maybe we're okay. Maybe we're okay. Alright, thankfully we're offline. Otherwise, the very moment you step foot in here, you would instantly, in the prime of this game's life anyways, you'd just instantly be beset by invaders. Just, like, dozens of invaders. Just constantly. Which is a big problem because you couldn't light this fucking bonfire. Oh, that was annoying. Whenever that was the case. Don't have to worry about it now, though. What are those things about the invasion system? I just never liked that. I guess you could say that as being, like, that's one of the memorable things about the game, that you have to worry about things like that. It's one of those... It's one of those weird, I take pride in the flaws of this system sort of thing. You know, it's sort of like a... Like, fighting game players might take pride in, I know, the minute I ever say anything about fighting games, people get angry. Even though it's... Even if it's something that they themselves have said. But it's sort of like fighting game players taking pride in I mentioned this in the Android 21 video, like aggressively trying to chase off newer players by just giving them a bad time, because I guess the idea is that you're supposed to be, like, showing them the ropes. I think Pat even said this to Klemps whenever he was over and they were going through their little trials. That Klemps needs to get to the place where... Surprised nothing's attacked me. There we go. Klemps needs to get to the place where he's okay with just getting the shit kicked out of him, like he doesn't care anymore. So I guess that's the mentality of it. But either way, like that's the point. It's just they take pride in like things that would be construed to be extreme negatives in most other cases. So in the case of Dark Souls, you know, like that. Like being invaded the second, like after you beat a boss. And just unfairly just getting the shit kicked out of you by someone that is there exclusively to make sure that you have a bad time. A lot of people will take pride in that. Despite the fact that it's not something you should take pride in, and it's not a design feature that should be perpetuated in any of the games. Oh, she's a phantom. Weird. But anyways, point being, that's not good. Oh, that's where it is. Not gonna use it. Not gonna use it. Well, maybe I'll use it. Hey, baby. You want to be my accountant? You want to be my assistant? Oh, she's dead. Just like the other ones. Okay. That out of the way. If I can concentrate, look down at my notes for a second. Haha! My plan worked. I'm a genius. Maybe. Maybe. Alright. Question time. Shrimp Mania says, you should hire an assistant, Eli. Maybe cheaper than a wife. Haha. Hi. Okay. Jackal ZXA, not sure what that stands for, is one of the, I'm guessing, I don't even remember writing these down, but he apparently had like a multi-paragraph post where I couldn't possibly write the whole thing down. But I put in parentheses, basically he has an idea for gray stamina, that is holding up a shield, gives you stability on top of your stamina, that drains over time, but regenerates very fast once the shield is lowered. And parries drain it all. And then I did a little diagram off the side that I don't understand anymore, thanks past me, that has like bar stamina and then bar stability. I don't know what the fuck I was writing at the time. I must have been very tired. That's my excuse. I'm not stupid, I'm just tired all the time. Yeah, that's what it is. We're not dumb guys, we're just very tired. We're exhausted from all the work that we're doing all the time. All the time. Just non-stop. So, hold on, let me concentrate. He has an idea for gray stamina. Holding up a shield gives you stability. This is one of his ideas for fixing shields, I guess. And it seems like this is something that I commented on a long time ago. Because an idea like this shows up ever so often in one of the video comments. And it seems like I always try to address it for some reason. Holding up a shield gives you stability on top of your stamina that drains over time. In other words, holding it up would cause your stability to drain, but regenerates very fast once the shield is lowered. So the idea is to make it so that if you just walk around holding the shield up, then your stability will start going down to the point where even if you block the attack, you will be stability broken. So it's independent of the actual stamina, and parries will just drain all of it. You know, it's not like I'm not in the mood to discuss that, I'm just not in the mindset for it. Whoa, from over there. What's attacking me? I can't see. Hold on. Whoa. It must be the sorcerer that's way down there. Holy shit. It's crazy. But I'm not even, like, I can't really think about it right now. Damn it. I wonder why I'm not in the right mindset right now. Who can say? Who can say? Right there. If I do an R2, then it actually doesn't need 3 swings. Sniper. Okay. Alright. Now, I don't know if our good friend Assmonger is going to appear here or not, so we'll give that a second. I feel like I've covered shields and stamina and that whole thing enough, though. What part did I start talking about? It seems like I'd covered that in like 3 different parts. But that was quite a long time ago, it seems like. Nearly half a year. Half a year. It's been crazy. Okay, let me just try. What would be the... Let's go down. What would be the disadvantage to doing that? You hold up your shield, you get stability. And it drains over time, so you can't keep the shield up. One, couldn't you just do this? Like just raise, lower, raise, lower, raise, lower, raise, lower. Because if it regenerates faster than it degenerates while you have it up, then that's just what you do. You just keep doing this over and over and over again. Now, this would punish new players, but it wouldn't do anything at all to, like, even slightly advanced players. So already I would say that would be the major issue. Another is that it reinforces the parry system that I don't like in the first place. Like, I've communicated that many times, the idea of just, here comes an enemy, boom, I win. And in Dark Souls 3, of course, they made the window so tight that even if you land a parry, it's not satisfying whatsoever. So. Aha! Here we go. Wonder how much health he has. Not enough. He does have quite a bit, though. That's actually surprising. He likes it. Were you going to try to take my souls? Oh, are you going to shoot me with your cute little bow? Oh, what an advanced player. So advanced. Hey! This little dude here actually got in more attacks than he did. How sad. How sad for him. Now, what is weird about that is that I think he's supposed to drop humanity, isn't he? Since he's replicating the whole invader system. So it's pretty unusual that he didn't do that. Oh well, I need to remember to kindle that bonfire whenever I inevitably die. And I will probably die once I get down here, if I had to guess. Alright, I wonder if this thing will aggro to me regardless of what I do. Nope, looks like we're okay. I do have to go back and do that, though. Alright. I'm listening. Something? Yep, knew it. That's what I was waiting for. I knew something was going to attack me. One or 2 attacks from... Yep, okay, 2 hand R1s, it's fine. Alright. So, whenever... Like, I'm not criticizing that particular idea, but usually people... I've mentioned this before, but people, whenever they're doing, like... Whenever they're commenting on trying to fix systems, and this is where my idea for labeling people as system hoarders, is that what I call them? That's where the idea came from, is that people tend to try to, they try to band-aid systems rather than replacing them or getting rid of things that don't work. Which is not a good way to view things. And this is not that bad. But it's sort of an example of that. Because, well, we need to retain everything about the system that we have now, except we need to try to band-aid it so that it actually works a little bit better. To fix minor problems with it. Which is not a good approach. And as you saw there, just immediately you can pick a hole in it. Like, doing this breaks that entire idea immediately. And pairing is not fixed as a result of it either. Plus the whole concept of stability, one can argue that that also is not really something that should be kept around. Although I guess I don't really mind it too much. Alright, that's where... Jeez, ow. But not going to worry about that too much. But that's a good enough idea. But, you know, has 1 or 2 holes. As does... Important to note, as does every design idea. It's not like there's perfect ideas. Like, there's going to be flaws in everything. Okay. I need to get down there, so I guess what I'll do is just ignore this for the time being and go down this way. Can't remember. I think that, yeah, this is the way I normally go. Ooh. Alright. So I'll go to the next question. T-Wisher. T-Wisher? Says ideas like poison and bleed. Because I was talking about supplemental, like, elemental style systems in the last part, I think. Might work better if the build-up amount isn't identical for different attacks. Yeah, okay. Slower, harder the hit attacks could make poison build up more, while simple R1 span could only add a tiny amount. I think they work that way. Might be mistaken though. Even making only some attacks poison, like in For Honor, could be a good idea. Like, I guess you're thinking about, like, combos, like at the end of a specific combo, that particular attack causes the bleed. It's fine. I'm not generally in love with bleed-style effects, as they often promote boring hit-and-run weight tactics. I actually like that. I like the idea of, I'm going to pick this enemy apart. Like, I'm going to go in, do a very specific string, that maybe they even have the poise to ignore, but I know I can get that string in. Then I'm going to disengage and wait for my bleed to eat through his health. I like that. Like, I may not want to play that way all the time or anything, but that's a good way of looking at it, to encourage a very specific style of play. And I guess that's what you're saying as well. What the fuck is that? Oh, she doesn't even notice me. But I think they could be done better than the current way, which rewards R1 spam. Which should go without saying, Dark Souls is very spammy, very R1 spammy. The problem with this room, it seems like there's another one right there that I can't really see. This is a shitty room, by the way. No, maybe just one. Hung on to that one too long. Green Tynite Shard. Super weird drop. But yeah, I think a lot of Dark Souls problems come down to the game being about R1 spam, because the weapons just aren't that developed in the first place. I think Neo did that a lot better. It didn't do it perfectly, but it did do it a lot better. I didn't play much of that game, but it did do that a lot better. It's this one. It's this room. You go down here, you try to get that one, but there's also another one at the very bottom. Ow, shit. Camera goes crazy, too. I wonder if this will also open up the wall. I think it does. Come on, use it. There we go. Damn it. I was hoping I had timed that correctly. I was off by a few frames. Another problem I have with doing these LP parts is that I don't play the game for like a month or something. So whenever I come back to the game, then just to make sure, you know, just to make sure, even though I know it's not a mimic, gotta make sure, right? That actually triggers some people's like OCD or whatever if you don't do that, because so many Dark Souls players do that all the time. Okay. It's been a while since I've done this, and I'm not really in the state of mind to be able to do this correctly right now. I think it's right here. Yeah, there she is. That one you're supposed to be able to backstab. For the, I'm sorry carving. I'm pretty sure it is. So this is going to be interesting. But in regards to that specifically, the alternative system for bleed and whatnot. What the fuck? Oh, yeah. There we go. Huh, it's different. Ring of Steel Protection. It's kind of unusual. That means that this enemy is actually qualified as being a unique drop like a chest would be. Like, it's not pulling from a loot table. It's actually like classified as being a container. That's unusual. Okay. I'm really desperately trying to remember where to go, because I am having trouble remembering. Try not to trigger that. There we go. I was hoping that would work. And I wonder if this one's actually going to have... No, it's not. It's not. Huh. Oh well. Alright. But Nier did do that better. The weapon system. Part of Dark Souls' innate problem is that the weapons themselves are not really developed enough. And that it's just R1, R1, R2. Funny thing is, Dark Souls 3 actually goes backwards. Because so many attacks in Dark Souls 3 are, like, much faster, and they don't really have as much... Like, this is a good weapon because it has two main functions. Side to side, and a thrusting attack. And both of them have drawbacks. So, in the context of a Dark Souls game, this is an excellent example of a weapon. It's very versatile. It covers all, like, major problems that you might have in the game. Surrounded, use this attack. If an enemy has range on you, use this attack. It's a very versatile weapon. And there's a lot of weapons in Souls games. Let me think of a good example. Probably a... like a Great Axe be a good example, I guess. Like, this is just an example of a weapon that's just a big number in your hand. Slow, short range, and its R1 and R2 are basically the same attack, except the R2 is slower and deals more damage. It has a very slightly different arc, so it might hit enemies a little bit differently, but they're basically the same thing. So that's always been Dark Souls' problem, or the Souls game's problem, is that the weapons are too similar. And even Bloodborne has this issue. I know all the weapons have their cute little transformations and whatnot, but Bloodborne weapons are basically just two weapons. Like, it's having this weapon and then switching, like, from here to here. Like, this is all Bloodborne's system really is. It's just switching from weapon to weapon, except it's classified as being one weapon. So, whenever you do the transformation attack, what's actually happening is that you're just seamlessly... like, you have an attack animation that transitions between the two different weapons. Except they're the same weapon, because it's a quote-unquote transformation. So it's a lot of art asset work to basically just lock you into using the same two weapons on one weapon slot, if that makes sense to you. And those weapons... What if I can make that jump? Probably not. And those weapons have the same problems that a typical Souls weapon will have. Whoops. Oh. Like, they still have the same limitations. Yeah, got an extra one. They still have the same limitations. They're not that versatile. There's not really much depth to them at all. Because it's still basically just R1 and R2 spam. It's just that each weapon, of course, is basically two weapons in one. But if you change Dark Souls, so if you change this sort of mode of combat so that it's more about things like combos, where if instead of R1, 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 and you just keep going R1, 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 R1. If maybe instead on that third R1, 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 it did a different animation, where you do like a flourish that lands a hit after you get a guaranteed hit stun or something. If that attack is the thing that guarantees status procs, or is a carrier for something else, like a bleed or something of that nature. If it worked that way, then you could do a lot more with the system. And really? Voice on that, then the game would open up a lot more, especially if you could actually change the weapons and modify them so that you actually can assign when you want those guarantees to happen. which that could also break the game, so you have to be careful about things like that. But if you had the ability to do things like that, then it would open up a lot more customization options. Gotta do it. There we go. I noticed that in this playthrough I've lost my backstab, like, ability. I got to where I kind of have just forgotten about the thing at all. I never really liked playing that way in the first place. Like, just doing this over and over and over again. You know, there are some people that are like that. I've been playing Warframe a lot lately. And I think the last thing I said, I've been playing PUBG a lot. Well, I wasn't playing it that much. I've been playing a lot more Warframe. Than PUBG. I barely played PUBG, to be honest. But there are people in Warframe. Like, Warframe is a notoriously unbalanced game because it's all PvE, basically. And it scales from anywhere from, like, level 1 enemies to level 100, with most of the game actually being sub 50. And there's some weapons that you can just fire them once and just everything in the whole room just dies instantly. Or you can one-shot a level 100 boss, scaling boss, if you're using like a Mesa with a very specific build or something like that. Very unbalanced game. And there's some people that are like, there's no point in using any other weapon. This one does the most damage. And you ask them, do you like that weapon? Because it's really stupid looking and it's kind of annoying to use. And what's the best one though? And there's some people that are just like that. Ooh. They just cannot get around that. That if they see something as being numerically the best thing, then they don't want to use anything else. I can't even remember why I brought this up. Something in regards to building a system in Dark Souls. But if you're... I guess if you're designing a system like that in Dark Souls, you're going to run into people that are like that too. Where they're just going to gravitate towards, this is the best weapon, so this is all I'm going to use. Oh, the backstabbing, that's what it was. There's some people that play that way. Where, well, backstabbing is the most efficient thing to do, so that's all I'm going to do. Because why would I use anything else? Because everything else is inferior. Therefore, I'm the best player ever, because I know exactly how to backstab people in 100% of circumstances. You know, the aggro on this mod, actually made this room easier. Ooh, actually using that. Good thing I got that backstab off. Oh, there is one more over there. Whoa, one more over here, too. Whoa, where'd you come from? You sweet angel. Oh, you sweet princess. You just want a taste, don't you? Want a taste of that plague sword. Sword. So, yeah, I just... People are gonna be like that sometimes. And you can't really... Like, I'm very different, obviously. Like, I will play in severely non-optimal ways. Because I'm like, oh, I love the look of this. I'm so pretty. Or, I haven't used this weapon in a long time. And this weapon sucks ass, but I'm going to use it anyways, because it's kind of neat. In fact, let's do that right now. Let's change weapons. Let's use something stupid. But, you know what? Let's use that fucking grip. Can I... Wait, can I... No, I can't. Fuck. I don't want to be that stupid right now. What is that, 14? What was that at before? Probably nothing too heavy. Let's just go... Let's drop down to the greatsword, I guess. Nope. 12. I'm too lazy to go in and do math. This is another problem with Dark Souls, by the way, having to do that math on the fly shit. It's another thing I don't particularly care for. 10 out of one of this. Actually, this is a great sword. It's a really good weapon. So saying that I'm going to use something stupid is not working. Let me check real fast. I could use a shield, I guess, but that's a little too dumb. Bows. I'm still on the bows. Alright, so I'm done by the halberd. Usually it's the big dumb weapons most of the time. I could use Lucy, but Lucy's not that bad, I don't think. Like, a lot of the weapon... It's mainly a weapon class thing, I think. Which goes back to the whole problem of, so many of... Yeah, one of these. This will be fine. Pickaxe. Fucking pickaxe. Which actually, the moveset on this is so generic, because again, it's more about the weapon class than it is the weapon itself. Like, this is similar to a lot of weapons. It's just an axe, like this, the same thing as a battle axe, which is a great weapon. Except its numbers are bad. Which I guess you can argue, how come you don't use weapons like... But anyways, that's the point. Is sometimes I'll just use things like this just because, hey, it would be fun to use that. Wow, numbers are terrible. Awful numbers. Bad numbers. Such naughty numbers. But it's still kind of fun to use it. But some people are just like, I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use it. Exclusively because, wait. Okay, yeah. Exclusively because, you know, it's not the meta weapon. What? No. What are you doing? There we go. Okay. Wait, what? Wasn't there supposed to be... No, yeah. Man. You should... I'll tell you what I usually do. Calamity Ring. This is where it was. This is where Calamite stored all of his goods. I wonder what Calamite's actually going to drop. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a surprise. Or maybe I won't fight Calamite at all. But what I usually do is I'll just jump across that. Or I'll try to, like once or twice. Just for the hell of it. But I'll fall in the process. Anyways, I should be doing the questions rather than the rambling. Alright. Drew Moyer. This is going to be a very, very serious discussion. It's not going to be. This might be really offensive to outright just ask, so sorry in advance. It's not. But given your tendency to hyperfocus, then space out whilst hyperfocusing, are you a high-functioning autist with ADD or just really weirdly developed neurotypical blah blah blah? Just wondering because I watched your videos since like a lot of people autistic, you know, internet thing. But a lot of people that watch my content, of course, are going to be like this as well because artists coincides a lot with weird developmental things. So sometimes it's more nurture than nature. In my case, it's probably a little bit of both, actually. So I'll hold on. I need to read the rest of this. Just wondering, I watch your videos since like their very inception, and the way your brain works has always stuck out to me, seemed familiar to me. Sorry if somehow I take offense to this. Nah. I just love learning about people, blah, 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 yeah, and then he goes on and talks about how he wants to jerk me off, and it gets really strange. Because this guy's a freak, obviously. Alright, I guess a lot of people don't know these things about me. Hold on, let me get rid of Charles in charge here. Bad numbers. Bad numbers. You take my numbers. Oh, no. Good numbers. Oh, those numbers make me feel so good. Oh, yeah. Miracle of Valor Silence. I will never use this. Yes. Okay. A lot of people don't know these little things about me. I've mentioned them sometimes, but I'm always surprised whenever I mention these things. Because on Twitter, I was like... On Twitter, like half a month ago, I asked a question about, is there like any like well-known like supplement or something that could help with neurological issues? And a lot of people freaked out about that because I described what they were, and a lot of people didn't know that I had them, apparently. And that freaked some people out. This goes back down there. I can't remember where this goes. Where does this go? Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, because this is where you're supposed to... Yeah. Hope I don't fall off in the process of... Okay, good. But I'll guess I'll just go down my laundry list here. Basement key? Basement key? Basement key. I remember the name, but what does this go to? It has nothing to do with this area. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Open doors leading to lower... Yeah. I forgot that it was called Basement Key. That is so weird. I never unlocked that door. I jumped down there using the skip. that I showed you guys at the very beginning. And I regretted it. I remember that now. Holy shit, I forgot I did all that. Alright, anyways. But I guess I'll just go down the laundry list of all the various crazy shit that I have. As far as, like, personality disorder stuff, I don't really know. According to my parents, according to my mother, at least, my dad is Kresky. Like, my dad, to be honest, he's a bit of an idiot. Like, he's not particularly intelligent. He's, like, a conspiracy theorist. He's, like, if you just talk to him long enough, if I have any degree of intelligence at all, a modicum of intelligence, I'm getting it from my mother's side, to be quite frank. He's calling father stupid! Yeah, like, I'm just trying to be perfectly honest. But he was very, like, emotionally and physically abusive whenever I was growing up. So it fucked me up in a whole bunch of different ways. So that's one component of it. You know the expression, stones don't bleed? A lot of my personality now stems from that. Because I had such, like, a unhappy childhood of being alone and being abused and so forth and so on, that whenever I was growing up, my way of fixing that was basically just, woo, woo, woo. My way of fixing that was basically just, I'm going to be a rock. I will not show emotions, I will not show weakness, and that's the way that I'm going to cover up being, like, made vulnerable. That was like the solution to little 5-year-old and up me. According to my mother, I was a very, like, outgoing person whenever I was much younger. Like, whenever I was wee baby Eli, I would just walk up to people and just introduce myself. Hi, I'm Eli. Like, would you like to be friends with me? That sort of thing. Like, I was this very, like, ordinary, normal person. A young, handsome young lad and whatnot. Jesus, this is not good. Oh. Obviously not now. No. Oh, he's here too. I'm glad I cleared out this area first. Thank you, numbers. Oh, this is not a good place for this. Ho! You attack. You do attack animation. Yes, there we go. Okay. Ah, shit. Numbers. You failed me. Alright. But yeah, apparently, according to her, I started out like that. It does rebound. I was worried about that. I started out okay, and then for some reason, and she's not sure why, I just locked up whenever I... Man, this is terrible. For some reason, I just locked up. This might do it, I don't know. Whenever I started getting older. Yeah, that does, okay. Because I don't want to be here all day. This is such a... Like, it's... Whoa! This is such an enemy out of nowhere. This is the only one like this in the entire game. It never happens again. It's completely unlike anything else. It's not a boss. It just exists. It's just here. And holy shit, does he have a lot of numbers. And he has the same poise problem that a lot of Souls enemies have. Where you just have, even if you go in during the right time, you'll still sometimes get punished for it. For really no reason. Anyways, sorry. Yeah, whenever I was like 5, apparently I just locked up. Before then, I was just like normal Eli. Hey everyone, I'm Eli. You know, I'm a normal, ordinary boy. Like, perfectly happy kid. And then whenever... Oh, come on. I don't even remember that attack. He just slaps you. But I started locking up. I got quiet. And I just stopped talking. And then I started getting lots of depression issues. Like, even as far back as, like, 1st grade. Damn. As far back as 1st grade. They actually called in, like, a parent... Like, they called in my parents to talk to them. Because even my teachers were noticing, this kid is really depressed all the time for some reason. We don't know why. Like, is something going on at home? And they couldn't figure it out. And this was... I don't really remember that far back. My dad may have been... Like, the problem back then was... especially, like, my dad, of course, is not a very intelligent person. Whenever he was younger, oh, it is a guaranteed drop. That's so weird. So he's not a container. He actually has the ordinary loot table, even in the mod. Huh. But his problem basically was that he had typical, like, as an adult, I understand this a lot more. But he had the typical adult problem of, he's just a kid growing up. He wasn't prepared for life. His father kind of treated him in a very similar way, so it just got handed down. So it was a thing like that. And at the time, we had a... Damn! Well, at least dude is gone now. At the time, we had a much larger farm. Like, we farmed dozens and dozens... Say it this way. We farmed in various counties across the state, which is a very large area. But a drought hit this part of the state, and much of America, back in 1982, I think specifically. And it seems like my dad made some... He made some investments at the time. The government was offering some sort of subsidy or something. I'm not too keen on it. He would remember it more than I would, of course. I wasn't even born. They were paying farmers not to farm that year. And he gambled. He gambled by not participating in that. I need to handle this. He gambled and lost because the government was doing that because they knew that a severe drought was going to happen and was in the process of happening. So he gambled and said, if I can put out a good yield during this year, I will make obscene amounts of money because no one else is going to be farming. So, like I say, he's not a very smart man. I was trying to kindle. I completely lost track of what I was doing. So he took that gamble and he lost. So he lost huge amounts of money. And the thing about farming, a lot of people don't understand, is even if you're farming a very small amount of ground, you might make $100,000, $200,000, $1 million a year. Like, just farming, like, independently. Not even a major farmer. As long as you're farming enough ground. And, but the problem with that is that, of course, farmers aren't millionaires. The problem with farming is that you end up having to pay out, like, almost the same or even more amount of money to buy all the shit that you need just to be able to farm the next year after that. And if something like a tractor or a combine, especially, breaks down, like I know you, combine, this is actual problems. If something like that breaks down, and this is why we're not farming anymore, there was a problem with a piece of our equipment, because the person fixing it actually fucked up, and he's like a friend of the family, so I can't really criticize him too much. But he kind of fucked up one part of it, and as a result, it would have cost so much money to repair it that we just couldn't farm anymore. We had to write everything off, and we just stopped farming. And now we just keep sheep to keep the farm status, and then that's it. It got really bad. But in 82, that problem, like, skyrocketed, because, like, even if you make $500,000 a year, if one part on a combine breaks down, that might be, like, $50,000 right there, just out of pocket. And, like, a lot of it is just year to year operating off huge loans for the bank. So, you can imagine, like I'm saying this, because you can imagine the immense amount of stress dealing with huge amounts of, like, numbers like that. Like, just money, just crazy amounts of numbers. So imagine if you have a year in which you lose all of it. Like, you gamble and you lose, and you're like hundreds of thousands of dollars in the 80s, the early 80s, in debt, and you can't do anything about it. So, and it's not like a 1 year thing where, oh, it just went bad this 1 year and then that's it. Like, that's something that lasted throughout my entire childhood as a result of, like, I remember specifically people, like, I was too young to understand what was going on, but people were hauling off, like, our grain bins. They were disassembling them and moving them, because that's, like, a thing. And I asked, why are those people taking our things? And my mom had to explain, we have to sell this. Like, we can't afford to do this anymore. And so we went from being, like, the most major, like, group of farmers, the most major family-operated farm in the area, to being nobodies. So during my childhood, that's where I imagine a lot of his stress was coming from. Just the constant money. I was an accident. Like, I was a surprise, quote-unquote. So I was not a wanted child in the first place, which I didn't learn, of course, until later. So, he was not in a good place at all, because his life was just royally, like, getting fucked up from every angle. I wonder how many of these things are... Yeah, figures. I'll probably just run to the next one. Because the main problem with dealing with these is that you can't just run past them normally, because of the mini-boss at the end. But in this case, we might be able to... Are you fucking kidding me? He's back! He's back in action! Better than ever. There's another one! He had a brother! I didn't know! Oh my god. But of course all this stuff is... Like, I'm an adult now, so none of this stuff bothers me at all. But you can see where everything was going wrong. Like, and according to my mom... Like, it was always known that I had some sort of weird neurological thing going on. Because whenever I was younger, whenever I was growing up, I would have what they would call fits. Like, this is what they called it. Like, if I got excited about something. Like, I remember people making fun of me, like family making fun of me whenever it was Christmas. And they were handing out gifts. I was like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 or something? I don't know. But, like, my hands would just start flinching and like flicking in different directions because I was excited, and this is just what my hands would do, whenever I was that age. So there was something neurological going on, and she claims that it was because she took cold medicine early on because she didn't know that she was pregnant. So as a result of doing that, she thinks, well, that may have done something to the fetus or something, and that's probably the reason why I developed the way that I did. So there's something neurological wrong with me, and there always has been. And it's developed in different ways as I've gotten older. So it's something I've always had to deal with. So whenever I comment on my modern neurological disorders that freak everyone out, I'm like, oh, who fucking cares? Like, it doesn't bother me at all. Because I've always had to deal with it. Come on. Hey. Come with me, my friend. Hello. this is a boss encounter. Riding the fucking Streets of Rage elevator with me. Let's not make a repeat of this particular thing just yet. Okay, sorry. But I had lots of neurological issues. There was something wrong with me. I don't know what it is. It's undocumented. Not documented. It's like no one's medically figured it out. I went to a doctor like whenever I was in my 20s. But we're going to Kentucky neuroscientist, quote-unquote, and his answer was, oh, you got something, give me money, which is why I don't like going to doctors, because here, you don't learn anything. They just want money. Like, you're not going to get any advice from them. They're just shitheads. They're fucking useless, shitty shitheads. And as I've gotten older, my hand thing went away, but it turned into, like, jerking motions. Like, I would have, like hiccups, almost. Like, they sound like hiccups, but they're not hiccups. And I would jerk forward very violently. Whenever I was working line, whenever I was just out of college. Whew, damn, that does a lot of damage. Whenever I was working line, whenever I got out of college. Or, not, whenever I dropped out of college before I went back to college, sorry. It had transitioned into being more of like a... Like I would have more like anxiety attacks and stress attacks and things like that, but that may have been because of... game crashed. Shit. Well, hold on for a second. God damn it. Okay, back. I hope I turned all the mods back on correctly. I switched back to S-Stock, by the way. I hope I can get through these dudes. I don't want to have to stop to fight them, but I probably should. It's just going to take a bit. Because there's that bonfire right after that. Well, I'll get past it. I should send the elevator back up this time, though. I can't remember exactly what else. It takes a while to set everything back up whenever that happens. Ooh, that doesn't do much damage at all. But yeah, that's how my neurological problems kind of shifted around. It went from my hands being weird to the weird sort of, like, jerking and stress attacks. To, like, nowadays, I don't jerk anywhere. I don't even really jerk anymore now that I think about it. What it is now is I can't walk correctly. Like, I will, like, it happens a lot whenever I'm done working and I get up from the computer and I start walking around. Like, I'll be trying to, like, make dinner or something. And in the process of doing that, like, I lose the strength in my hands, and I might drop what I'm working with. Or more usually, my legs will go limp, and I'll just fall down. And I won't be able to get back up for, like, a few seconds. And I'll usually curse, like, for fuck's sake, or god damn it, or something. And, I wonder, is this dark? I can't remember. Sorcery damage? I was trying to think of how to block it with a shield. Who cares? But then I have to get back up, in other words. So that's kind of how my neurological issues have kind of developed. Like, they keep changing. It's really strange. They keep developing into something else. Which I don't know if that's normal or not, but you can tell that there's something weird with my body. And that's independent of the nurture part of it. Because obviously I was not raised correctly. Like, even through... up till college, my dad thought he was helping by showing tough love, I guess. Because he would say, you're never going to amount to anything. You're useless. You know, you're a stupid fuck-up. Like, if it wasn't for me, you would, you know, be dead or living on the streets or in the gutters or, you know, just stuff like that. I guess he thought, well, he'll, you know, lash out and be independent and develop that way. I did not do that. Like, all that did was just make sure that I had no self-confidence at all. Like, none. So, anytime that... I'm gonna have to drag these guys out, too, if they see me. All that really did was ensure that, like, anytime... Like, even, like, whenever I was a teenager, like, if girls showed an interest in me... Because apparently, back then, I was actually pretty good-looking. Supposedly. Back then. But I didn't believe that, because why would I? Because I had no self-confidence. So I thought, well, they're either making fun of me... Ah, damn it. They are either making fun... I wonder if I can bait him over here. I wonder if I can get away with that. I thought, well, maybe they're either making fun of me... Like, I don't have this problem anymore, obviously. Or... I'm mistaken, and they actually aren't interested in me at all. I'm just misconstruing their signals, which is not the case. Like, they were legitimately interested in me. They just didn't know that I was fucked up. They were none the wiser. So, like, you can see where my personality has developed and how my mind has developed. Because neurologically, he's still going to be here, isn't he? No, he's not. Wonder, did he fall off? Probably not. But if he just left, that was really fast. Whoop. Let's not do that. I know that's going to turn into a hilarious video waiting to happen. And we don't want hilarious video, so let's just make the elevator come right back down where it belongs. I hear you, motherfucker! I knew it! I knew he's sneaking around! Oh, you son of a bitch! Oh, you motherfucker! God damn it! He made a funny video out of it! You son of a bitch! Fuck you! He's so good, he's better than me. Damn it. Alright, let's go back and do it again. At least the elevator was already going up. I should have stopped recording. This hasn't been going well. It's been going great, depending on how you look at it. It's been going badly for me. This is my life. This those few seconds were my life. Right there. But you can see how I developed, in other words. Like, neurologically, I was fucked up in some way that I didn't understand. My body was developing in a way that was altering my personality on the fly. Which made me unable to sort of cope with things correctly. And in addition to that, my dad specifically, and my mom is so passive she didn't do anything about it. My dad was not raising me correctly either, and he was actively fucking me up because, like I said, he's just not a very bright person. He used to be military, so his idea of correcting issues was just aggressive, like screaming at people, or physically, beating things into them and that sort of thing. Plus, he was under a lot of stress, blah, blah. Like, you can picture what was going on. So now, what's up with me now? I don't know. Like, I'm not going to self-diagnose, because that's a bad idea. Oh, goddamn that poise. I'm not going to self-diagnose. But something is up with me. And I don't know what it is. So, if you're wondering, like, why is he so weird? Or why is he, like, an artist and all these other things? Why is he unmarried and so forth and so on? That's the reason why. Because I was just colossally fucked up in various ways. And it wasn't until... Like, I started to recover whenever I was going through college the second time. I was starting to recover. Because that's whenever I was able to actually gain confidence in myself. And really, that's the root of some... Like, even if you are... even if you have, like, neurological problems or psychological problems that you can't deal with, just having confidence fixes so many things. Damn it. Ooh, damn. Like, it can resolve so many issues. If you just... Damn. God damn! Oh shit, ain't going right! It can fix so many things whenever I can... Fuck it. Yes! I did it. I will have my victory. It's sweet. Damn it, I didn't send the elevator back up, though. Rats! But even if you have all these problems that you can't deal with, like health-related issues, just being able to have confidence fixes so many issues. And not having confidence is the cause of huge amounts of issues. Like, I mentioned evolutionary from that perspective. Women are really wired into men need to be confident for that reason. Because if the male that they selected, this is really like callous and scientific and academic, and that's how I look at things sometimes. If that's the case, like even with non-human species, if they did not have confidence, then their lineage would not succeed at the same level. So it's just important to have confidence. So God damn it, I forgot about you. So if you're a parent that is not raising your children to be confident, then you're going to have fucked up kids. And as a result, they will probably procreate less and not be as successful. And what do we have here? We have an artist sitting alone in a room, unmarried, not having children. That's evolution in action, guys. That's why you do not fuck up your children. Because from an really, come on. Because from an evolutionary perspective, it's bad. And from just a human perspective, obviously it's bad. You don't do that. So, a lot of problems with a lot of young people are just confidence related. So whenever I did the Scary Lessons comic, that's the reason why I did it. Because I want young people to have confidence. That is super important to me as an adult now. Whenever I want to develop people, whenever I want to help people in my videos, that's where it's coming from. I used to be this person. I'm a different person now. Like, I still have the health issues, and I still have like the stones don't bleed thing going on. Like, that shit's never gonna go away. Like, part of the reason why, like, he never wants to admit that he's wrong and things like that. That's where it's coming from. Like, that's just part of my personality. Like, I try to make sure that I'm right about things, and I'm not, like, if I think I'm wrong, I'll just say that I'm wrong. Because This is more like I'm right. Like the fact that I can admit immediately, no, I'm wrong about that, is just part of me being right in my own head. Like it's just a weird psychological thing. Damn, this thing. If I pop out, like they don't want to enter the area. I've got to get him before he attacks. Shit. Maybe I can spam him down, so there we go, yeah. I'll just have to pick at them. Ah! Damn! If it just didn't take off so much health. And I can't pop out. There's no cover. I could go over to the left. But they're over there. Ah, this is a problem. But anyways, to answer your question, yes! I'm fucked up in various ways. What are they? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But, what I was saying is that I started to get better whenever I started going back to college, because that's when I started getting more confidence in myself, because I was just getting older and things. I started letting go of things and like, alright, fuck this other stuff. And I started developing more as my own person. I got away from my parents, which were the cause of a lot of problems, and just started being my own person. So I had to self-correct a bunch of issues. Whereas a kid can't self-correct these... Shit. Oh, God! Damn! Damn, it took off... How much health is that? It took off like 90%, maybe more than that. Like 95% of my health with that one hit. I'm just gonna have to run for it. There's no way I can actually just fight my way. I've just got to try to luck it out. Unless there is... I don't know. I can't remember if it's magic defense or not. 30% magic. I can't... It's because it's dark magic, so it's like physical, but it's also magic. I don't know. So maybe I should equip the crest shield and see if that works. It might. Kinda doubt it. It might. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, you guys can see what's going on. So whenever I'm trying to instill confidence in you guys, this is where it's all coming from. I want you guys, you young people, since a lot of my audience are people that don't have confidence in themselves because of similar issues, I want to make sure that they know it's okay to fail. A lot of cases, if you feel like your parents are fucking you up in various ways, in many cases it is not intentional, obviously. They're just kids having kids. Like, parents, adults are just like that. Like, even now, I'm like, I do not need to be having kids. I would not be prepared for such a thing. Stop! God, they just managed to power through all of it. I was trying to get to a place where I wouldn't be hit by a million things. It's difficult getting through this. Damn it, I keep losing my train of thought because of that. It's hard to do two things like this at the same time. By the way, I think the reason why the game crashes is because it's trying to reassign my hollow visual state. It's trying to reflag it so that my body changes. And since I have those things locked because, you know, I just want Freelid to look the same, it's actually, that's what's causing the game to crash, I think. Which it doesn't really matter in this case. I mean, head's covered. But I think that's the cause generally. But anyway, yeah, you get the idea. Like, even trying to instill confidence in people is very difficult because confidence is a self-actualization thing. But if you're surrounded by people that are constantly degrading you, like that's one of the things. Like, I made a tweet recently like this. Of some people, like there are specific kinds of people that bother them. I think, for Wooly, it's people that steal. And I can't remember what Pat's is and what Matt's is. But it's different for everyone. For me, it's people that gossip and people that degrade other people. Because that's one of my big things. It's mind your own fucking business. Because other people's lives are not your lives. You don't know them. You don't know what they've been through. There's a lady in our town that people refer to as the crazy cat lady. And even my parents do this. and they'll make fun of her if they see her. She's just like an older woman, like she's kind of overweight, and I guess she does that kind of weird. And you usually see her just walking back and forth to like Walmart or something, carrying a bag of like groceries. Like, to everyone, I don't know what it is. Because everyone else looks at her and they want to make fun of her. And most people are like this. But me, whenever I see her, I imagine, like, I'm thinking, what is, like, does she have developmental problems as well? Has she always been like this? Were they documented? Did she have a chance when she was growing up? To her, like, internally, what is she thinking? Does she know that she's seen this way by people? And that's what I think. Like, I'm very, I grate on people because I'm me, but I'm actually super empathetic. And I try really hard to see things from the perspective of other people. Like, even whenever they harass me, I'm thinking, well, maybe they're in a bad place in their life. Like, I'm not forgiving, but I understand. So it's kind of difficult for me to forgive people sometimes, because I'm just kind of like that, I guess. But I also try really hard to understand why they are the way that they are. So I detest it when people gossip about things they don't know anything about. They don't know this person. And yet they're running their mouth about them. None of their goddamn business. And they're just running their mouths about it. Jesus Christ! Oh, that was a perfect storm. Got hit with the magic and that guy's attack. I think the magic staggered me into a physical hit, which drained all my stamina and staggered me long enough for everything else to hit me. Ah, if only this elevator... If I could just run over there. Oh well. We'll just keep hammering it out until we get down there. I guess we'll end it at the next bonfire. This is the best place to end it, I guess. And it's probably gonna take me a while to reach that point. God, guys, come on! Give me a break! Alright. But that's it for me, like gossipers. I don't like people that gossip, that talk about other people, like whisper behind their backs, like start rumors. I hate people like that. Cannot stand them. Because if there's one thing I can abide, it's tearing down other people. Like, it's one thing to sort of like ridicule other people, like poke fun or whatever, as long as they are aware that you're just poking fun. And even then, it can be dangerous. So whenever I do it, I try to reel it in as much as I can, and I try to be so over the top that it's obvious that I'm doing that, right? Like, that's part of where the character of Plague of Gripes comes from. Like, that's not Eli, that's Plague of Gripes that I'm doing. Even whenever I'm, like, on the podcast with them, I'm intentionally trying to play it up because, you know, it's for the sake of comedy, it's for the sake of their viewership. But that's my thing, and that's where it comes from. Yeah, that does help a little bit. Ah, damn it. Oh, god damn. Oh, son of a bitch! Almost had it that time. There's just too many guys hidden in corners. Too many monster closets. Even without the mods running, this is a very poorly designed section right here. Because normally what you have to do, you like have to get out a bow and pick off like the dudes that are in melee very slowly and whittle the area down. Even then, once it's just the two sorcerers, it's still a problem to try to get through both of them at the same time, because both of them should not be there. Really what it is, it's them trying to encourage you to use the item that you should have that blocks those attacks. That's what it is. They're trying to force you into using that item, is what it actually is, I imagine, from their perspective. But anyways, yes, all those things explained, that's where that comes from. I don't like gossipers and so forth and so on because I remember being degraded myself, humiliated, torn down, told I'm worthless, that I'll never amount to anything, that I'm too stupid to amount to anything. It was so weird growing up because my dad, on one hand, will say, "You're a genius, you can do anything, but you're too stupid to do it." It's like, what? What are you talking? Because I was in like the gifted and talented program whenever I was in elementary school. For some reason, like that was like a popularity thing. All the like the rich kids were in that program, but also me, because all the teachers liked me for some reason. Maybe it's because I was so deeply depressed all the time And like it was a mixture of I was a very nice kid, but I would also violently lash out at people all the time. Because of just the fact that I was just like that. Whatever was going on. Like, I don't even understand it now. I was just like that. So maybe it was that? I don't know. So I was like the smart kid growing up. And even in high school, whenever we had like developmental tests where we were actually graded, like the ASVAB, for example, the military aptitude test, I was in the 99th percentile nationwide whenever we took that. I was, since 99th percentile, I was obviously the highest in the school as a result of that, which I got very bad grades because I didn't study, I didn't really pay attention, but I knew a lot of things. Oh, their backs are turned. Yes. Their backs are turned. Turning. Shit. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. How did I get this far before? Oh, run away very fast. Please let these block. I know probably some guys were angry at me for stopping, but I really didn't want to risk this part, getting hit in the back. Oh, yes! Yes, me! There's gonna be a dude right here. Eat shit! Eat it! Lick it off the ground. I swear if I had just, like, walked off right there. Please, light. Please. Yes! I win! I'm the best ever. I'm the best! I did it! Oh, we're gonna need these fucking Kindles here. Believe you me. Oh, what a victory for me. Alright. Anyways, yeah, that's me. So if you ever wanted to understand why is he like this, that's why. Like, that's basically my personality. That's how I developed. Like, if I try to explain it to people, no one's gonna care. Like, I'm so different from most people. Which is kind of a good thing. Because I like that part of myself that's super empathetic and tries really hard to understand how other people are and why they are the way that they are, how they're thinking, that goes on my way to even if someone is screaming and yelling at me like, bad at fighting games, or harassing me on Twitter for whatever reason, I'm trying to understand their perspective, assuming maybe they came from a broken home, maybe they didn't develop correctly, maybe they're around the wrong people. There's so many things that are not their fault. I like that about me, but it makes me too passive. And it makes me too willing to compromise for other people. It makes it so that if I have the opportunity to take advantage of something, to benefit from it, to like benefit my own life, I won't take it for the other person's benefit, even if I don't know them. Like I'm too. This sounds like humble bragging, I guess, but I'm too kind in that way. Like I like some people like call that like you're being a bitch because you're letting people walk over you. But I'm trying to be a good person. Because even when I was growing up, I also had like hyper Christian values being pushed on me at the same time. Like I was raised in high school. I switched during middle school. Yeah, middle school. I started going to a private Christian school. So as a result, I was surrounded by a bunch of like hardcore Christian people. And like it was a Wooly thing. He kind of had a similar development as a result. And like my best friend, which you heard me mention like once or twice, yeah, even the last part I mentioned him, he's a preacher now. He's a preacher. So you can see where like all these things, like it's just a storm of like conflicting information, mismessages, like one set of ethical values being paralleled against another one. It fucked me up so badly. But it also made me really eclectic about how I take in information. Like, one of the reasons why I love so many... Like, if you have gone to one of my streams before, I'm like this. Where I just listen to all sorts of music, and people comment on it every time, like, holy shit, we're going from, like, classical to rap, to country music, to, like, R&B. Like, what is going on? Ooh. I mentioned before, once we got to this place, since there's so many enemies with the aggro mod running, I don't know what's going to happen. Shit's going to get crazy. Let's just slow walk down here. Shit, what was I saying? God damn it. I did it again. Shit. How fucking impotent. That was so limp-dicked. Oh, fuck. Oh, Jesus, you're back. Oh, no! He's gonna make a funny video out of me. I gotta get away, guys. Fuck. And he's a phantom. He's always gonna be here. Oh, the frame rate's dying. I'm dying. Oh, no. I've gotta run. There's no way I can clear this out standard. There's no way. It would take too long. Oh, and you're here too. Oh, you beautiful princess. You multi-eyed freak. And as you guys can see where I was coming from with my development, I was just fucked up royally. Like, I didn't have a chance. I had no chance at all. Oh, thank God. Thank God I got that large soul. What would I do without it? Oh, fuck off! Ah, fuck you, you multi-eyed princess. You can see everything. But can you see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Probably not, because you're a stupid bitch. You don't got no taste. No taste! Alright. But yes, I was fucked up, or whatever I was talking about. I can't even remember. I was talking about something. That you guys see where I'm coming from, because I was developed that way, blah blah blah. That's probably enough to cover, I guess. Oh, I will allow people to step over me and do that, because I'm a little bit overly empathetic in that way. Some people call that being a bitch. I just call it trying to be a good person, because I came from this background. That's why I'm weird, I guess. That's why I'm weird. There are parts of me that I really value, and that's the reason why I'm so different from everyone else. Not just because I'm fucked up, like, because most people, like, it's the crazy cat lady thing. Whenever I see people like that, it's people that, oh, he's crazy. I don't see, oh, he's crazy. Like, he might be, because I know what I am, right? But I think, well, he probably has this, and maybe he has this background. More importantly, I don't know, and it's none of my actual business. So I have no right to judge him, so I'm going to leave him alone. Like, that's where everything comes from with me. It's mind your own business, leave each other alone. We all have problems, we all have insecurities, we're all being afflicted by different things. We're all a fully developed three-dimensional person. There are no cartoon character people in the world. Everyone is a unique person. Not a special snowflake, but everyone is, like, has depth to them. As a person, as a character. So we have no right to be mocking each other. Like, there's no sense in that. Like, I might do that to, like video game companies and things like that. Like Miyazaki, for example. Like, famously, you know, like, this playthrough, like, Miyazaki does this, and, like, I'm not making fun of the man, and even whenever I'm doing it, I'm trying to see it from a design perspective. I really wish this dude wasn't here. But anyway, you get the idea. Like, just don't be a fucking dick. Just don't be a dick to each other. That's who I am. That's the reason why I am what I am. And that's all I am. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. God damn. I'm gonna get shot in the back. Ah, another one down here. Ah, God damn it. Fuck that up. I didn't expect his delay on that attack. I'm not used to seeing him, so I didn't expect his delay to be that long. And he auto-tracked like crazy. He spun on a dinner plate. That's nutty. Alright, and enough talk of that. Like, you guys get the idea with all that. That's more of an art gripe topic. That's usually how I talk in art gripes. Although I'm usually not that comprehensive about my background. Usually I'm just like, don't lose confidence, guys. Like, if you want to draw, just draw. It doesn't matter if it's bad or not. That's the whole point of drawing. You're enjoying doing it. It doesn't matter what skill level you're at. Like, I'm not happy with my skill level, but I still draw because I enjoy doing it. So that's usually how my art gripes go. I'll go on to more questions. GTA Guy 1223, your name's terrible. Because the GTA guy... like, that's another thing. Like, see, right there? I'm not actually making fun of him. I'm just ribbing him. I'm just filling dead air, basically. Plague. If there had to be another Dark Souls game created that had to be Dark Souls, and not Bloodborne or whatever else, would you have Miyazaki create it? That's a big question, isn't it? Or would you have someone else, and what type of person would they have to be to make the best Dark Souls game possible? Another thing, would you consider Dark Souls to have a quantity of content with bits and pieces of quality content? Or would you consider it to be fairly decent overall? Like, the Souls games in Bloodborne are great games. Like, make no mistake about it. They have flaws. Everything has flaws. Here's another thing. Let me explain this real fast. As fast as I possibly can. As I switch headphones over ears so I can hear myself talk. The name Plague of Gripes I came up with, not because I know I gripe all the time, I complain all the time. It's because I know that people perceive me to complain all the time. So that's the reason why I made the name, because I thought, well, I'm probably going to make a bunch of videos analyzing things. So, and the way that I think usually offends people in a way that I don't understand. Like, I don't really understand why people get angry at me whenever to me, it's just talking. Like, I'm just thinking out loud. And I've explained this before. And so I was like, well, I'll just get ahead of the game and just call myself something that I know people will accuse me of doing. Holy shit, you're a Phantom too. It's crazy. And that's where the name Plague of Gripes came from, because I was just trying to summarize how I thought people would perceive me. Because I know that's how people view me. This is how people are in regards to me. I think I'll do this first. I never really used this elevator, but I'll just go ahead and do this. I can't even remember. I think this leads up to where their Artorias fight is. I never really used this elevator. Shit, I'm losing my train of thought again. Ah, it's gone. Fuck. Fuck. Oh, that Plague of Gripes. So I was just trying to get ahead of it. Yeah, this is where it leads to. But as far as the way that I actually think, it's because I'm very self-critical and analytical, and I try to break down why things work, why I like them, why they may not work. Like, you know, the whole stones don't bleed thing with my personality again. One of the components to that is that it makes me try to anticipate failure, so I don't fail. That's not gonna really work. No, I don't know, it might. Woo, that's a big boy. Forgot how big those guys are. You like the big guys? I like the big guys. And it's nice that they don't attack you. They're attracted to you. I love this part, like this is the part of the game that doesn't really get much play, and is really beautiful. They're not trying to harm you. They are humanity. And this is like Miyazaki. Like, this is gonna bleed into this question. This is a good place to answer this question. This was his message. That this is humanity. This is what humanity is. A floating, aimless soul that accompanies itself, in a way, is frightened of you, but also is not malicious. It just wants to be you. Like, it's jealous of the fact that you are human. It wants to be corporeal in this case. And as a result, if it harms you, it's only doing it out of misguided love. And to me, that is like the most beautiful sentiment throughout the entirety of Dark Souls. And what makes me so disappointed about Dark Souls 2 and 3, which did not have a message like that. The message of those games was just, here's a bunch of useless lore information about cities and people that you don't really care about. That's really not that important. Anyways, But that's how I think in regards to, like, complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm trying to get ahead of myself, anticipate failures, and so forth and so on. By breaking down, why does this work? Will it start to not work in the future for some reason? So whenever I, like, play a video game like this, it's not like I hate it when the game's fast. Why can't it be slower? What I'm doing is I'm looking at it and saying, it's fine that it's fast, but if it's fast, here are the weaknesses that that style of play creates. If you design around it, it creates the following problems. And I have to, like... That's why it gets so frustrating for me having to preface, like, every single statement that I make, because most people don't think like that. They think everything is a complaint. Like, a lot of people, if they enjoy something, they just enjoy it, and that's the end of it. They don't analyze it. And I don't really think it's that important to analyze things like that, the same way that I do. But that's just how I am, so whenever I do it, everyone thinks, oh, he just bitches all the time. But to me, I'm just thinking. Like, I'm just thinking out loud about, here's the problems that this could do, but I still like it. Like, I'm completely innocent of the whole complaining thing. So whenever people misunderstand me and label me as being, like, a negative, horrible person, like, that always, like, really bothers me. And that's what makes me so defensive about being misunderstood. It's because I'm just so different and people don't understand that component of me. That's what makes me lash out in my adult years. Like, I'm still that way after all these years, ever since childhood. I just don't want people to think of me that way. But I know that they will, so I just have to be a stone. And, like, I just have to be a man about it, I guess. And, just say, well, they're going to be this way. There's no way around it. Because I'm just too different. So as a result, I have to make sure that I'm protected against it by putting it out there and saying, okay, I'm the complaining guy. Let's get that out of the way. So long, Dark Sif. You good puppy. Thanks. Did you devour a human? On your... That's what Artorias did. He came back. No, he didn't come back. Sif got injured. He said, well, we're here on Manus. I have to fight Manus still. I'll leave a shield and a human. And Sif's like, jerky. I'll have something to gnaw on while the humanity tries to besiege me. By the way, isn't that interesting that humanity is trying to get inside of an animal? Like, it's not trying to get inside of just other humans. But if given the chance, it would also try to embody a wolf. Isn't that cool? I don't know what that means. It probably doesn't really mean much of anything. But it's still pretty cool. But anyways, that's why I picked the name. So that's where the whole, oh, you're criticizing everything, that's where that comes from. Like, it's me just thinking inquisitively and trying to break down things and analyze them. And just being misunderstood in the process because most people don't think that way. And even explaining it now, I'm sure a lot of you, that's bullshit. He's just, like, thinking too much of himself or something. I'm sure people are thinking like that. I'm absolutely certain of it. That there's people out there in the comments that are just thinking like that right now. But anyways, that to say, about the whole Miyazaki thing, should it be him? Like, I don't know his circumstances. But the thing I've kind of gotten the impression of, really, these guys are not being as aggressive as I thought they would be. The thing I've kind of gotten the impression of with him is, like, this was his swan song. Like, this was his... I finally... like, Demon Souls, he came in and he fixed a project. Like, it wasn't his baby. He came in and was just the right guy at the right time to fix that project that they had linger around. He didn't start Demon Souls. He just took the assets and tried to fix it. Yes, I should go down here first. And Dark Souls was really his first, like, this is completely me. So I've said this before, I feel like he was really trying to hit everything out of the park. So he was trying to dump as many ideas as he possibly could that were like, this is me. This is what I think. So this is like his chance to be a true artist. Ooh, that was weird. Ooh, ooh. Okay, remember what I said about the humanities. Ah, this is not a good angle of attack for this. And I feel like once he became president, that sort of fell off, and he became more concerned with doing his job and making sure that they were producing, like, video games. Like, producing... Yeah... I don't blame you guys for attacking me. I can see things your way, but it still hurts. I know why you're doing it, but you're still you're still involuntary assholes about it. Which is probably a lot of people are saying in the comments. Yeah, we get you, Plague, but you're still a bitch. Okay. Okay. Hey, I'm just human. I have humanity like everyone else. You're the same way. Regardless of whatever problems that I have personally. Ah, damn. I need something more range. I'm gonna switch to, like, a... Because I can't afford the everything fuck up here at the end. I don't care what it is, just... No, whatever, just pike. It's good. So, should it be Miyazaki? I don't know if he still has that in him. Because I get the impression with Dark Souls, like, there was a lot of problems with Dark Souls development. It's not a perfect game. It's not a perfect video game. But it has a spirit to it. It has a beautiful spirit to it. And you can tell that from playing it. From reading the item descriptions or whatever else, you can tell what he was thinking. That he was trying to do his best to get noticed. He was trying to do his best because this was his opportunity. His home run at the bat moment. Where he could actually do everything that he wanted to do. Be the person that he wanted to be. And I don't know if he has it anymore. I don't know. Maybe he does. So I feel like whenever 3 came out, he was being too conservative. And he was trying to please too many people. He was trying to do no wrong. And he was just trying to get it done. He knew that there was a reputation that had developed that, oh, no one can do it but him. So he's like, okay, I will head this. Like, you see what I'm saying. Like, he was just... He was going through the motions, basically. So I don't know if he's in a place in his life where he could actually have that artistic role anymore. Straight out of the graveyard. Thank goodness. And this is gonna go down there. Wait, what? No, that's up there. That must be under... Yeah, that must be the item that's under the bridge. Once I get down there. That's probably what it is. Let's not forget it. I might forget that. So, if someone new took over, you would have to get someone that had that same kind of hunger. Like, they had the same level of inspiration, the same desire and drive to be able to produce something that was uniquely them. And the thing about producing new Dark Souls games, new Bloodborne games, is they become parodies of themselves. Like, this is a Dark Souls game. We hide all the information everywhere. And like, even Dark Souls 3 was like that, where, oh, it's the angels and all the, like, the Prince Lothric. And, but no one gives a shit about any of that. It's not important. No one cares. Because when it comes down to it, there's just no love behind any of that. And it doesn't mean anything. It's just information. It's just raw, useless information that's being concealed. It's like tearing out random pieces of a history book and just hiding it. Even if you piece it together, you may not give a shit. Whereas if you piece together this, about humanity and all this other stuff going on, you might be more inclined to say, oh, wow, that's super cool. Like, the more human and relatable the concealed information is, the better the hidden stories are behind Dark Souls, or Bloodborne, or whatever it is, and I feel like that's been lost. So if someone new comes in... Whoa! If someone new comes in... God damn it. Where did it even come from? I don't know. At least I know that everything's been... No, there's still one more item at the very bottom. I can probably dive down and grab that. Then we'll be ready for Manus in the next episode. Got more done than I thought I would, though. Hold on, train of thought. So if you brought in someone new, I would fear that they would just be a very mechanical person. The Souls games, the thing that is appealing about them is, one, of course, your decisions matter in the course of combat because it's slow and methodical, which has been lost over time already. And the spirit of the games, like the sort of hidden beauty in the game itself. And I fear that they would hire someone that is going to be mechanically proficient. Someone that is just going to be... See it down there? Yeah. That someone is just going to try to improve the game in very mechanical ways and is going to make a parody. Like, this is a Souls game, isn't it? This is how you make a Souls game, I think, isn't it? Yeah? This is how it's made? And it's just going to be like a joke version. And it won't really be Souls as a result. It'll be like Dark Souls 2. Like, Dark Souls 2 was just, this is a Souls game, right? This is how you do it? But you could tell that it's being made by people that didn't really have that same vision. So even though it mechanically was good, it didn't have the same spirit. And 3 had a similar but sort of opposite problem, in that you could tell that some of that was still there, but it lost, like, the mechanical nature of it. Like, it became too fast and too aggressive, too focused on it being intense rather than it being methodical and laid out and procedural. So it lost that component of it. And it also didn't really have the same spirit as a result, and in combination with that other thing as well. So, if you brought in Miyazaki, you could get something that does not have the same spirit because he just doesn't have that in him anymore. Or maybe he does, and he just doesn't have the time to deal with it anymore because he's the fucking president. He doesn't need to be worrying about shit like that. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know his circumstances. Damn it. I was trying to get away from that. Hitbox on these guys is so big. I'm trying to be careful. The thing is down here. Damn it. Yeah, here it is. I just need to grab this and we'll be done. Ring of Sacrifice, useless. And that one I already got. Okay, we're done. So now I can just rush to Manus and then that'll be it. So Miyazaki would probably have that issue. Because he's just too busy. He doesn't have that anymore. Or you could bring in someone that is mechanically proficient, but he just doesn't have the spirit behind it. So you'll get something that feels really lifeless and dead, but it might be a good video game. But the problem with doing that, Souls games have never been known for their, like, mechanical appeal. Like, it's not like Monster Hunter is a good example. Because it feels a lot like a Souls game in many ways. I know a lot of people get angry at that. But mechanically, they're very similar in some respects. But they're far more developed than a Souls game ever will be. Because the weapons themselves are, in many cases, extremely complicated to the point where someone could use them for years without realizing that there's a single move that completely alters how they play the game. It's one of those games. So a Souls game will never be that. It will never have the mechanical appeal. So, to me, the appeal has always been those two things. The sort of hidden spirit, the hidden kind of beauty behind the game, a lot of people don't know is there, or is just sort of, you kind of get a taste of it. And you can feel the sort of love coming off of it in many cases, even though it's really janky. It's been that, and it's been the kind of fairness. Dark Souls is not hard, it is fair. It will still punish you for doing the wrong thing, but it's fair. Unless you're an asshole running a bunch of stupid mods that you shouldn't be running. But who would do that? So, should he hand it off? I don't know. Could he make another Dark Souls, like, on his own? I don't know. I don't know. He might be able to, but if he can't, you better hand it off to the right person. Oh, God! Because if you don't hand it off to the right person, then you're just going to get a soulless husk of a game that has absolutely no value other than just being a Souls continuation for the sake of just making yet another Souls game. So, but to be fair, every game faces that same problem. There are so many games that are just continuations of another game that obviously have no spirit, passion, soul, or anything behind them at all. They're just there to make money. And the only time that you really feel love behind them is whenever you can tell, wow, someone really wanted a particular system in this game to work. And it's one of those things. Which is also fine, just games have appeals for different reasons. You just have to be very careful about what your appeal is going to be. Here comes the magic. God! Christ! Okay. Just one more item down here. If I can avoid getting hit. Okay, might be out of range finally. And there's still enemies down here that I have to be careful about. And I think this is the item that I saw. Here we go. Oh, look at that! What a nice place to have it. Don't really need it, but it's nice to have it. Yes is yes. Alright, that's my answer to that. Alright. To answer the second part of your question, does it have quantity of content with bits and pieces of quality content? Yeah. I mean, Souls games have always been, like, most games are like that. There's, like, instances of, holy shit, that part was amazing. Followed by a lot of, well, that part wasn't too great. I make things the same way. Like, there's cases of, like, oh, that was okay from Plague. But there's this one thing that he did that was just amazing to me. A lot of that is... A lot of that is just the process of development. Because not everything is going to be perfect. And the process of creating something can be stressful, complicated, and often you have to make compromises. Damn it! To be able just to get something out the door. God! Oh my god. So as a result, the quality will go down. But you can still tell that there are pieces where they were able to get everything that they wanted out of it. Which is not really their fault. Not everything can be perfect. Not everything can be developed in a seamless, perfect manner. So obviously the quality will suffer in those cases. Guardian Gauntlets. Okay. Let's... Oh, I can't go back up. That's right. You have to drop down. Shit. Haha. Ha! I did it on purpose. No. If I die, it's not on purpose. I mean, it's on purpose. If I die, it's on purpose. Everything I do is flawless. I don't bleed. I don't bleed. We're just gotta keep booping and weaving. Like a booterfly. And that's how we'll clear out this area. Anyways, yeah. Development is like that. So that's true of anything, though. And it's perfectly reasonable as far as why that would be the case. Okay, good. Oh, alright. I have two more questions, actually, that I can get through. Von Skellerman says, since you wanted to talk about weapon upgrades, I think the best way to do them would be to have one upgrade path that uses one material. Any diversity in terms of utility and accentuating certain playstyles should come from a sort of slotted gem system. I said that for like I have an idea. That's my idea! You took my idea and then made me read it. I think you mentioned that in a previous episode. Yeah! Like several episodes. But I would like to add... Okay, here we go. That there should be a way to transfer upgrade status from one weapon to another for those, such as yourself, that want a lot of different weapons. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's part of what the slot system is supposed to accomplish. Why did I probably put this down because I'm like, man, all these... Like, I did it very early, so it's like, well, I'll just put down things that I think I might be able to discuss. And then whenever I went back to later, it's like, they're all commenting with a timestamp talking about me laughing. And then that's it. No laughing in this episode. Well, not the kind that you want. Just me being amused by myself laughter. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's what I intended the system to be. That was my idea. Congratulations on stealing it, asshole. That's another case of me just joshing. Don't take it too seriously. You sweetie little angels. And Kleiner Kokiri says... Kleiner... That's a unsettling name if you actually know what... Okay, anyways. The Blood Vial feature in Bloodborne exists for the same reason Mass Effect 3 has its stupid Paragon Renegade system. What? The Paragon Renegade system compared to the Blood Vial system Bloodborne. Interesting to read on. Both are flawed systems. Yeah, I guess. But give the game some novelty using... Oh, okay, you're going that route. Using recognizable systems that stand out. Sort of. Yeah, I guess there's some credence to why Bloodborne used the Vial system to try to distinguish itself from the Estus system that worked in the Souls games. Yeah, I sort of agree. They didn't have to do it the way that they did, obviously. Like I pointed out in the prior episode, you can go with that apparently Hollow Knight healing system, or Path of Exile healing system, where the more that you physically attack enemies, the... Oh, I can't get back up there, though. The more that you physically attack enemies, the more... Oh, wait, I can. What am I talking about? The more healing that you actually get back. Anyways. This is often done in video games. Even if we already have a superior, more reasonable mechanic, doing something different can often go a long way, making your game stand out more. That is true. Designers will often do that. They will, like, go really out of their way. They will go really out of their way to be like, well, this system works, but we can't just do that because that's what this other game series, or that's what our previous games did, or so forth and so on. So they feel compelled to be different, even if it's from themselves. That is true. That's true. Last item. Here we go. Fantastic. I tell you, whenever this playthrough started, this randomization thing was like, holy shit, there's so many crazy things happening. How wacky. Whoa. Hammer that fucking bell, guys. Subscribe. Suck my cock. Yeah, it was like that. It was 100% like that. Now, it got really bad in the middle, and now it's just kind of just like, we expected everything's gonna be a fucking soul. Like, the most exciting thing is getting a Chloranthy ring, which I guess I could use. Like, the poise is not really doing me any good, unless I'm using very heavy armor sets. So I guess I should be using this, rather than having that stupid grass crest shield on my back all the time. It does make her have her Dragon Ball power lines on her all the time, though. Can't tell you how many people asked for that to be turned off in the sequels, and they just never did it. Then again, FromSoft, so they don't listen to anyone. Alright, anyways, thank God, that's all the questions. Alright. This time, you guys have to... God damn it, I talk so much about my weird-ass neurological problems and neuroses that you guys are just gonna leave comments about that. God damn it. Now it's gonna turn into a serious fucking playthrough rather than talking about game systems and whatnot. Oh well. If I was smart, I would give you guys a topic and be like, leave a comment about this. But I'm not smart. No matter what the ASVAB percentiles say. 99 percentile my ass. Here I am making Dark Souls video. You know, they sent me a letter. The military sent me a letter whenever I was like 19? Maybe 18. It was whenever I got out of high school. After I graduated back in like 2001. Yeah, 2001. They sent me a letter asking if I wanted to move to Maryland to undergo training to potentially be a, what was it? It had something to do with building reactors, I think. Because I was off the charts as far as, like, their scientific section or something. I can't remember what the fuck it was. No, that was before, because I took the ASVAB twice. And the second time I intentionally tanked it because I got tired of being harassed about it. I say tanked it, but I was still, like, 89th percentile or something. So that plan didn't work out for me. It was even the same test. I remembered all the answers. It was the same exact test. Actually, that's not how percentiles work. Yeah, you get the idea. Yeah, they sent me a letter asking me if I wanted to move to Maryland. And of course, back then, I was way more fucked up. Had no confidence in myself whatsoever, and the idea of even leaving the house terrified me. I say that, but here I am sitting in the house. So obviously I was like, hell no, I would never do that. And they didn't follow up on it. So I guess they were like, fuck him. Fuck him. Now the government watches me for different reasons. Isn't that right, Freeland? That's right. Furry porn. No. You want to move to Maryland to draw furry porn? Or you're on the 99th percentile of my dick. Alright, that's enough of that. Alright, leave your fucking comments about whatever the fuck you want to in the thing below. If you want to talk about something, I don't know, who fucking cares at this point? Talk about Manus's cock. I don't fucking care. Alright, that's it, guys. Bye. Bye for now. See you in like 5 months from now, once I work up the courage to do another video. If I don't put out anything, it's because I'm working on the animation right now. And this one is going to be 5,000 frames, I think. 24 frames for every second. So that equals long-ass time. So it's going to be a while. Yeah! Alright, see you guys next time. Bye.